Big move in Bitcoin then, in contrast to all the notes I wrote pre-show, which were telling me that this was going to put Bitcoin under pressure.
The narrative that perhaps this launch of these political meme coins will sap flows from Bitcoin is showing us that it's really not the case this morning. If anything, it's just accelerated the momentum and the excitement around cryptocurrency under another Trump
administration.
Hi, Dewald. What is all this FOMO about? Should I buy Bitcoin now?
Are you smoking your socks? You should rather watch my show. You should rather watch my show. All right, legends, welcome to a little bit of a later live stream today. I was busy doing some other stuff, aka busy recording my trading course, right? Doing some editing, doing some recording, some of the basic stuff. But here I am doing a late night here in South Africa live stream. So it's not going to be a long live stream, but I'm here, right? Let's discuss some technical analysis as per the thumbnail. I mean, guys, I'm putting my reputation here on the line, putting a thumbnail out there saying that the all-time high will be claimed again. It's quite a brave statement, okay? It's quite a brave statement, but, I have a 70% probability, more or less 75% probability that the title might come true. And I have that 30% probability that all hell's going to break loose and people are going to laugh at me. It is what it is, right? I just trade technical analysis at the end of the day. The structure is telling me a story. And if you can learn to read the structure, if you can learn to read the structure, right, then you trade probabilities and you assess the probabilities. Well, what are the probabilities to claim the high versus the low there down at $74,000? What does the probabilities look like at the moment? Are we first gonna, crash here to the downside, claim the low, and maybe then shoot back to the upside? Or whatever is happening over here, is it still corrective, or are there signs of weakness and we're just gonna absolutely tumble here to the downside? Right, legends, remember to smash up that like button if you've forgotten to do so we can spread the word, the algorithm, the YouTube thing that needs to do what it needs to do to get the video out to new people that haven't watched the technical analysis here on this channel. Welcome to the live stream. For those of you that are here, I see you guys are trickling in ever so slowly. And something else that I want to do today, legends, is that I've been giving some $50 prizes away here on the live stream. Today I want to change it up a little bit. Okay, today I want to change it up a little bit, ever so slightly. I am going to give away another $50, but not in the live stream. I'm going to give it away to someone that leaves a comment after the live stream in the comment section on the YouTube live stream. Okay, so when the live stream is done, you can go and leave a comment. I'm going to pick a winner from the most authentic comment. I don't want to hear a heartfelt story about how you're struggling and how difficult life is and how life has been turning against you, because I get many of those messages every single day. I want a truly authentic message about something positive. Doesn't have to be about me, just a true authentic message that's positive. I will go select, I will read through every single comment. The most authentic comment I will select. I will message you. You will send me your UID from weeks, okay, with the link down in the description, and I will do an internal transfer. And everyone will know, because I will respond to the comment and everyone will see who the winner is. And then tomorrow I can maybe talk about it as well. So I'm going to give that person maybe a little bit more than $50. We'll see. I'll see what the mood feels like and how authentic the question is. And you'll get a nice little surprise in your account. Okay. So legends, that is what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to change it up a little bit slightly. Someone actually gave me the idea yesterday to say that, Dewald, there's a lot of people watching your stream after you have gone live and they miss out on these amazing opportunities. So for the people, or for you that's watching the stream after I've gone live, and for you watching the stream right now, okay, there's a chance for you to grab a little bit more than $50. Okay, so legends, let me quickly say hi to the community and then we can dive in. Welcome to the live stream, man. Thank you so much. Jeffrey, hello all. Hemra, Hemraj. I don't know how to pronounce your name properly. Welcome to the live stream. Riza, welcome. Irina, always great to see you guys here. My coffee is ready. I'm waiting eagerly for the TA. Crypto Gardenist, hey all, welcome to the live stream. Hey, Mr. J Jack, where did you get that spanner from, right? Did you pick it up yesterday? Welcome. Thanks for the support here on the channel. Stefan One, Dewald, the man, the legend himself. Thank you so much. Right, Satoshi. Dewald Sailor says no more corrections. Oh, no. No. I mean, there's always a correction, guys. There's always a correction. It doesn't matter how bullish the structure is, okay? It doesn't matter how bullish the structure is. There's always a correction. There's always a correction. Guess what? There's always a correction, okay? Yes, the general trend is up, you know, so the corrections are made for buying and determining whether the highs will be claimed again during every single corrective structure, which we so far have correctly identified here on this channel. Every single pump, this has been identified as a correction, claim the high, every single time. And now I'm going to talk about this little structure over here. Basically, a little bit of a repeat of what I spoke about last night, but now we got a little bit of a dump here to the downside, and some people are freaking out, saying, Dewald, you said it looks corrective. Why are we falling? Because I did speak about a specific scenario which I still think carries high probability, and I will go through that today in the stream as well. Okay, so Satoshi, there's always a correction, brother. There's always a correction. Yes, the general trend is up, and I mean the general trend since the start of this bull cycle has been up, but it comes with corrections, right? The general trend is up. So it's always in your best interest to look for longs, because the trend is your friend until the very end. But I mean, correction, deep correction. Fear and greed index was at extreme fear when we made these lows over here. Everyone thought we're going into a bear market. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure done. We're going down, baby. Right? What happened? We claimed the damn highs again. So let's get into the technical analysis. Mr. Phantom, welcome to the live stream. Please do a good video on the 1 or 2% with examples. Please do a good video on the 1 or 2% with examples. 1 or 2% with examples. Maybe that penny will drop for me a little bit later. Hugo, welcome to the stream. Let's get the party going. Mr. Everest, you are still a mod here on the stream. I forgot to remove you from yesterday. Well, enjoy, my man. Sean, one more. Yes, I think I should, I should start calling myself one more high until there's no more high, right? And then I'm gonna say one more low, right? Cool. New to the channel. Thanks, through for your TA. Okay, Chuck, welcome to the live stream, man. Yeah, we discussed pure technical analysis and probabilities of whether the highs will be claimed again or whether we can be looking for a deeper correction based on Elliott wave scenarios, support, resistance, and the list goes on. Actually, I said no matter how low now, it is a correction and still expect highs before lows. Yes, I mean, if Michael Saylor says there's no bear market for now, you know, I would say, okay, you know, he's onto something. But if he's saying no correction, right, the correction is just a correction of the momentum to the upside. Awesome content, you curring, absolute pleasure. Right, let's dive in, legends. So let's go into the 1 hour time frame. Like I said, guys, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this live stream, so I'm just going to get straight to the point, right? So the biggest area of support that I see in this little structure is here, okay? And then a little bit further down as well, but there's a massive area of support over here. Something that I do want to highlight is that if I go here to our Legends Pro, our Legends Pro community, right? On the setups that I highlighted this morning, it was very simple for me, guys. I had two boxes that I highlighted because I know the market loves to front run. The first box I highlighted was here by the 1.236 and the 1382 because I knew if the market is going to front run this 1.618 level, that's where it's going to do it. So I was checking the reaction at that level. And then we got the bounce exactly at the 1.618. That was the second box that I was keeping an eye on. And then we went through some chats, myself and the Legend Pro, we went through some chats, okay? Lots of chats over here. And then we got the breakout here to the upside. Okay, and someone asked the question, Dewald, how do I nail this entry? Because we broke out, we came back for the retest. And the only thing I said is, if it leaves over here without me, I'm not interested in this trade because I have to follow my rules. So the problem that I saw over here when we did the retest was time. I would like the low to be made after the 0.382 from a timing perspective. I did, however, also say, but it is a very nice retest. Also, on the smaller time frames, I do see sometimes that the rules get invalidated. But on the larger time frames, not so much. Okay, and that's basically what happened, legends. So if I zoom back here into the 5-minute time frame just to show everyone, well, how that transpired, and it's not because I'm great, okay, it's just pure technical analysis. I need to follow my rules. So back here, let me switch on my trends. This was the breakout, right? And all I did was I saw the retest. Okay, I saw the retest, and that's usually the best place to get in. Okay, you can either play the breakout, you close the 15 or a candle body above the trend. That's a good sign. You put your stop below the low. Okay, and then you can start targeting upper resistance areas as price is now pumping here to the upside. But these retests are always the best buying opportunities. But there was a problem with this retest. And if price just pumped from here, I would have missed the trade because I have to follow my trading rules. That's just what I do. I follow my trading rules. And if price leaves without me, it is what it is. Okay, so let me just switch on exactly what I had over there. And this is what I had. Guys, I'm sharing this from an education perspective, so make sure that you smash up that like button. So we made the retest, and I said, well, I would like this low to be made after the 0.382. So I don't trust the bounce. It's a beautiful retest, and I do acknowledge that sometimes the rules get broken on the smaller time frames because I am on the 5-minute time frame. And then what happened is we came down again. I highlighted these pivots, and I highlighted the 786. We tapped the 786 to perfection, but what made this bounce more significant is that it finished after the 0.382 from a timing perspective. Now this looks very interesting for a trade. Now that is where I get into a trade. I enter with my stop below the low. Price moves in my favor. Guess what I do? I protect my position. So if price turns against me, I'm in a free trade. I get stopped out with no loss. Okay, and now we're just riding the momentum here. Oh, now we're just riding the momentum here to the upside. So for the pro members that did take this trade over here, congratulations. You should be in nice profits at the moment. Remember, the highs are always TP1 areas, okay? Just to take a little bit off the table, pay some trading fees, make sure that your position is protected. You could even move your stop loss up a little bit to make sure that if you do get stopped out, you get stopped out in profits. And remember to pay yourself here to the upside. Right, so this is just scalping, guys. This is scalping here on the 5-minute time frame. And believe it or not, with these small little moves, you can make significant cash, right? If you know what you are doing and you're applying proper risk management, you're following your trading rules, you know, this is a nice day trade, guys. Believe it or not, this is a nice, significant day trade, right? Even if I close my position over here, I'm happy with today's day trade. It's a small little move in consideration to the bigger moves, but I mean, I think it still has maybe more legs to the upside. We'll see. We're not hitting critical resistance to the upside. We are tapping this pivot, definitely. Okay, you can see where price is getting the rejection at the moment. Look at this, okay? So, you know, definitely profit-taking areas on the way up because you don't know how high it's going to go. What I like to do is take a fib from the high to the low, okay? And when you start hitting some critical Fibonacci levels, if you don't know where support and resistance is to the upside, if you don't know where to take profits, and you're just closing your eyes and see how high it's going to go, it's not a plan, okay? It's not a plan. When you start hitting some critical Fibonacci levels, they are always great profit-taking areas. Okay, you TP yourself out of your position until you close it. Maybe you leave a moonbag open for higher levels. Okay, but these levels are always great profit-taking zones if you cannot successfully identify support and resistance. This is the biggest resistance, by the way, over here. Okay, what is this? $108,000, 500. This is most likely where I will close my position. I don't care if it goes higher. It's a successful trade. Okay, TP1, maybe you take a little bit more. You maybe either close your position or you leave a moonbag open for higher levels because you never know if it's just going to rock and roll and come and claim this high. Okay, so legends, this is basically what I'm seeing here on the smaller time frame. So from a resistance perspective, let's keep it simple. This, ladies and gentlemen, this little boxy over here. Okay, let me draw it here on the 50% Fibonacci, nice little confluence. Let's make it red because it's resistance. That is a good area of resistance. And that is definitely a zone where the price could reject. Okay, it can go higher, but I'm just pointing it out. This is resistance. Right, a little bit further down, we also have massive support. And I'll talk about the support in a moment when I go to the larger time frames. So there's a chance that this structure is potentially going to continue here to the upside until we hit some critical resistance. Always, guys, golden pocket, you know, you guys know the golden pocket Fibonacci levels. If we do reach that high, pay attention. Okay, so what I can do is just clone this over here and say, well, definitely pay attention in that box. Okay. Right, so now from a larger time frame perspective, while price is pumping here to the upside, eventually we got into a trade today because price action was so boring. Here, chopping to the downside. It was like, you know, watching grass grow. It was very boring here to the downside. And then finally we tapped the level. Okay, so let me take this out the way. Can take that out the way. Also, what I noticed, legends, is this bounce that we got over here. This little bounce, okay. Very interesting. If I go here onto the 15-minute time frame, where did we get the bounce? I was playing around with Fibonacci levels. It's always a good idea to take your Fibonacci levels and you drag it from specific pivots to see, well, where's the best areas of confluence. So I took it here from the low, and what I also noticed is this bounce took place at the 0.382. Okay, very interesting. Swing failure pattern from a Fibonacci level, but also the 1.618. Can you guys see that? Right, these were Fib levels that I highlighted last night to the Legend Pro community. Okay, I took a trend based Fib from the high to the low, to these highs. Okay, doesn't matter. Those highs are almost equally the same. And then you have the 1-to-1 extension, the 1.236, and look at where price got the bounce. The magic number, 1.618, 0.382. So, I mean, definitely an area where you need to pay attention. Okay, if you did not get this entry, well, there's a beautiful breakout, beautiful retest, like I've just explained on the 5-minute time frame. Okay. So what I want to quickly discuss now is, well, what could potentially happen from where price is at the moment, okay? So there's a chance, legends, I just have to point it out, you do have a 3-wave corrective structure, okay? So there's a chance that the low could be in and we could go and claim the high. There's a chance, okay? So that's why, you know, maybe you want to leave a small little moonbag open for higher levels, but please pay yourself on the way up because you don't know if it's going to reject and fall down again. So you could have a 3-wave structure, you could have a corrective structure and another 3-wave structure to the downside in an A, B, C, W, X, Y. I don't know how you, I don't care how you count it, it's a damn 3-wave structure. Okay. So now what I want to do is just take the mess here out of the chart and go here onto, well, go here onto the 1 hour time frame. Last night during my stream, okay, and I got some comments from people saying that, Dewald, you said we can't go lower because this looks corrective. I also did say, legends, I was during the end of the stream, I was talking, and during the middle of the stream, I went and rewatched the stream just to make sure that I did cover those scenarios. I did speak about this scenario. Where did I save it now? Okay, triangle. Sorry, legends, just give me a second over here because that was the, I have so many scenarios. I'm going to go through this scenario and here we go. Right. I did speak about this scenario, legends. Okay. Do you guys remember? During yesterday's stream, I did say that there is a possibility where you can form a larger 3-wave structure in a B wave, but it's still corrective, which means you're still going to take the high, even this high, without taking the low. Even if you go a little bit deeper. So you can still go deeper. So can you guys see where you've got the resistance that I've drawn here on the smaller time frames? There's a chance that you could still reject and form another 3-wave structure to go and complete the X here to the downside. And then this trend from where price broke out basically is coming back for retests. It makes a higher low and it makes another pump to the upside, maybe in a B flat that takes the high, makes the world bullish, claims all of the liquidity, and it comes back down in an aggressive 5-wave C wave to the downside, which then claims potentially the lows over here. Okay. This scenario is still very much intact. It has not been invalidated and it's still in play. Right. Then I want to go through a couple of other scenarios and tell everyone why I don't favor these scenarios. So this is one of the corrective structure scenarios that I'm still keeping an eye on. Okay, it's a larger A, look at the bigger one, B, C, which is a 3-wave corrective structure, but a large 3-wave corrective structure. You have formed a WXY in an A, which is perfectly, it's fine, it's allowed. And now you want to form another WXY inside of a B wave. And then you form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave structure in a C wave. And I can tell you guys now, if this scenario had to play out, when people see this, because C waves are scary. They have a lot of high volume and it's like, you know, it's price jumping out the window and just falling to the downside. These structures, if they play out, okay, if the structure is going to play out, this move is going to scare the crap out of everyone because they can get very aggressive to the downside. Massive volume. It just looks like the bear market is starting. Okay, guys, yes, we claimed the highs. We're going into a bear market and it just falls. And it can go pretty deep, right? It can go pretty deep. I have seen, okay, just from a worst case perspective, I just want to work out that B target to perfection. Okay, let's say we play out this scenario and I work out the B flat targets to the upside. Okay, so this box is common B flat targets. This box over here, between the 1.236 and the 1.382. The unfortunate thing about B waves, they are very difficult to trade. B waves historically are very difficult to trade because they have so many targets. You could literally claim the high and it can fall down. You can tap the 1.05, it can fall down. Like anywhere in this zone, it can reject. It does not have to reject there or have to reject there or have to reject at the 1-to-1 extension. Also, when you take a Fibonacci, it can reject at the 7, the 618, the 786, the 0.88. They have many, many targets. So they are very unpredictable waves to try and catch the short or the long to the upside. Okay, but I'm highlighting the box upstairs because it's the most common area where a B flat usually rejects. Okay, so now that I have this target, and let's speculate, well, what if this scenario does play out and we do fall down here? How far can the C wave go? What is the maximum target? That's what I'm trying to figure out here now, okay? And I know I'm speculating very far into the future, but what you will do is you'll take your trend-based fib from the high to the low to the high, wherever that's going to reject. So let's just put it here on the 1.236 for now. You reverse it to the downside. Okay, now you have C wave targets to the downside. Oops, deleted the wrong one. I want to delete this one. Okay, there's your C wave targets to the downside. Most common C wave target is the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. This is the most common C wave target box. Okay, so you could have a running flat. In extreme bullish environments, running flats are common, where the B wave claims the high, but the C wave does not claim the low. That's what we refer to as a running flat, and you do get them in extreme bullish market conditions. Okay, because everyone is waiting for the swing failure pattern from the lows. They want price to dip below, and as soon as price gets acceptance back above, this is where people want to long. Well, that's where I want to long as well. Your stop goes below the low, and you are targeting the highs and much higher. So what a running flat basically does is it leaves these traders behind. It leaves them behind. It stops and it goes up, and it forces these people to buy in at higher levels. Okay, so this is why I will be paying attention to the 1-to-1 extension, because that is a beautiful front running level if you are not going to claim this low. Maximum target usually is the 1.618 to the 2 extension. This box over here is considered the maximum target, most commonly the 1.618, like we got the 1.618 right there where we got the bounce this morning or a couple of hours ago. But I have seen what happens often is you get a 1, 2, 3 that touches the 1.618. You create a fourth wave, and then the fifth wave taps the second target over here. In rare instances, but I have seen them play out, you can go to the 2.618. So from a worst case perspective, the maximum target, which is rare, this is by far more common to get a bounce in this zone over here, is the 2.618 at $84,000. I have seen C waves tap the 2.618, but you don't want them to go further than that. Okay, they typically don't. Right, so if I zoom out into the structure, let's go into the 4-hour time frame. Let's see if that 2, okay, you can see, well, in the worst case scenario, if this C wave just tanks here to the downside, to the 2.618, remember guys, it's still a 3-wave structure. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's going to find support in this consolidation area. Okay, if I take a fib from the low to the high, okay, well, to the potential high that we're going to form, it also aligns with the max or the lowest bullish target, the maximum bullish target that you would like to see for a 1, 2, 3 to the upside. This is the last line in the sand. So if we do get an aggressive C wave to the downside, I just want everyone in this community to be prepared. If we do get to $84,400, okay, it's still a higher low and it's still a bullish bounce. You don't really want to go and tap the 0.88 because that will increase the probabilities of coming to claim this low. That's the worst case scenario that I do see, but I have to say that a 2.618 is a rare target. Most commonly, it will find support in this zone, okay? 1.618 is actually a great target, 1.382, 1.236. Okay, now I have spoken about that scenario, so let's clean up the chart. Remember to smash up that like button. And guys, I always talk about, I've told the Legends Pro community this, we've spoken about this and we've spoken about that, and we talk about a lot of stuff. You guys can see I'm very active inside the community. I wasn't so active on the trading side today because price was so slow and choppy. I just, these were the two levels and that's where we got the bounce. And then when we did get the bounce, I went into the chat section and I told everyone, well, from a timing perspective, let's just... it doesn't make sense to me, so I'm not getting into the trade yet, okay? I want the low to be made after the 0.382, which happened. We bounced. We made the low at the 786 that I highlighted. We got the bounce to the upside. Happy days. Got into a trade for today. Okay. Andre, we're going down to 85k mark. Well, I've just said that is definitely a possibility. I have seen C waves go to the 2.618. I have seen it a couple of times. It's not often, but I have seen C waves hit the 2.618, and it really scares a lot of people out of their positions. And maybe that's what the market makers are going to do. It's going to scare everyone out of their positions, and then it absolutely just flies back to the upside. Right, Legends. So what I want to discuss here on the Legends Pro community is, for today and tomorrow only, there is a 10% discount if you buy the 3-month plan for the Legends Pro community. You have to use this promo code when you sign up. Dewald promo 10. Dewald promo 10. You select the link, you go sign up, and you will get 10% discount only for today and tomorrow. And then the promo is gone, right? So if you have been hesitating whether you should or should not join the Legends Pro community, well, there's a little bit of a discount. And I hope to see you inside where I share daily technical analysis together with the coaches. Okay, link down in the description, guys, as always. Right, now I want to go through a couple of other scenarios and potentially delete a couple of scenarios, because that's the beauty about invalidations, okay, is to delete a couple of scenarios. So I want to look at this structure over here and quickly just want to talk about that. I want to switch. Was it the VRVP that I looked at this morning? I just want to check. Yes. Can you guys see when I switch on the VRVP, that basically shows me the volume that was traded during the price action that I have on my screen. You will see if I drag more price action into my screen, okay, the volume changes. It just takes a while and it loads up again. There we go. Okay. So I'm particularly only interested in this price action inside of this range. Okay, and then it will now load the volume. It takes a while, and it will show me the volume inside of this range. So that's how the VRVP works. It's an indicator. You can go search for it and put it onto your list over here. So you can see just by looking at this price action, the reason I have a box over here, okay, from a price action perspective, without even looking at volume, you can see this is beautiful support, okay, from a price action perspective, but it also aligns with a high volume node. If you struggle to draw support and resistances and you're unsure about yourself, use the VRVP. Look at the point of control over here. Okay, the point of control is where the most amount of volume was traded inside of this entire range. So I should actually have a box there. Okay, there's another good area of support over there. Very good area of support. So I use the VRVP to also make sure that my support and resistances are exactly where they need to be. Right. That one also aligns beautifully with this high volume node. A little bit higher up, you've got more resistance over there. I think you have some daily and naked point of controls to the upside as well, if I'm not mistaken. So now that I've got the support nailed, okay, I distracted myself over here. I want to talk about a couple of other scenarios. Let's see what I've got here. Okay, this one. This is a scenario where we still come and claim the low from where price is at the moment. Okay, this is the high, and we are going to come and claim the low. The reason this scenario is still in my folder but carries low probability is because of how deep the X wave went. Okay, so it's not an invalidation, but it does impact the probabilities. When I take a fib, just to explain to everyone, from the high to the low over here, okay, the X wave tapped the 0.88 and also the 0.786. This is an extremely deep retracement for an X wave, which then reduces the probabilities significantly that after you've had such a deep retracement to the upside, okay, you decrease the probabilities of coming to claim the low. If the X wave rejected by the golden pocket and the 50% Fibonacci, okay, then this makes complete sense. But there's another problem. It's not just how deep the X wave went. This is also a problem over here. Okay, it is very uncommon for a B wave, let me zoom into the structure, to tap the 1.618. This is why I have a question mark over here. So when I take a trend-based fib from the high to the, from the low of A to the top of A, I reverse it to the downside. There's your problem. The B wave tapped the 1.618. Most commonly, okay, preferably the 1.382 is your maximum target for a B flat. So you have two problems inside of the structure. So can you guys see, based on the problems that I see inside of each structure, I then determine the probabilities of each structure. So the structure is not invalidated, it just carries lower probabilities compared to the ABC that we've just gone through. Because that ABC that I've just explained to you has no mistakes. It doesn't have any mistakes. This one has two mistakes. So it's not invalidated, it just carries lower probability. Right. So, and this, based on probabilities, this is why I keep on saying that there's still a higher chance. It doesn't matter how deep we go over there or over here, there's a higher probability that we're still going to claim the high, maybe even this one, before we claim this low. Because of this problem and this problem for this structure. So sometimes the low probability scenarios do play out. Okay, but I would rather be on the side of a 70% probability than on the side of a 30% probability. Because as a technical trader, the only thing you can trade is probabilities. Okay, so there's a 30% chance that I'm wrong, guys. There's a 30% chance that I'm wrong, and I'm admitting it. There's a 30% chance that I'm wrong, and that price is going to reject miserably over here and fall down. But at least I still have the scenario in my folder, and if price does fall down here without claiming the high and it claims the low, I know where this target is. I know where this target is and where I'm going to be looking for longs. Okay, so I keep it in my folders so that if my scenario gets invalidated and the low probability scenario plays out, I'm still going to take that long over here. I'm still going to take the long. Okay, right, so now I can take this out the way, take the scenario out. So I'm not deleting it just as yet. Okay, take this out, don't need that. Right, I want to take the boxes out here as well because it's messing up the chart. Let's do this. Right. Okay, now we have this one that I just spoke about. We have the triangle scenario. Okay. This one carries slightly higher probability than the one that I've just shown you. Slightly higher probability, but it also has one mistake. Okay. It has the same mistake as the previous scenario. Your B wave tapped the 1.618. But because X went so high, you can form a triangle. You basically go sideways, you don't take the low, and you go back to the upside. Okay, the reason this triangle scenario takes slightly lower slightly higher probability than the previous scenario is because it only has one mistake. But it's not invalidated. Remember, guys, the 1.618 for a B flat is not an invalidation, but it does impact the probabilities. That's all it does. Okay. Right, so still keeping this one in my folders, and then the highest probable scenario is the one that we've just discussed in depth. This is the highest probable scenario because it has no mistakes. Okay, it's not to say that it is going to play out because it doesn't have mistakes, because there's always another scenario. What if, okay, there's always another scenario. What if this was the low and we just gonna carry on and carry on, okay? Something that I spoke about yesterday as well. So that is a scenario that we need to keep in mind as well. And the only bullish case scenario that I do see for this structure that's forming here to the upside is the following. So let's go back here onto the 1 hour time frame. It's a double 1-2, where you have basically formed a 1-2, 1-2, and now we're going to explode in a third wave here to the upside. Okay. So for the B flat scenario to play out, okay, for that B flat scenario to play out, you should not claim the highs. You ideally want to reject in this zone, and as price is pumping here, you want price to make a lower high and continue to the downside. For the A, B, C to play out, you need a 3-wave structure in a B. If price continues to pump here to the upside, there's a good chance that we are going to, much higher levels, maybe have we will analyze that situation when we get there. But for the A, B, C to play out, you don't want to take the highs just as yet. If price is going to continue to pump over here, then it means that this entire structure, like I've discussed yesterday in my live stream, is not finished. Okay, because now we are I am speculating on, this is the low, we know this is the low. If this is the high, and this is the corrective structure that is forming here for this entire impulse, you want the corrective structure to continue. Because this low was made before the 0.382. From a timing perspective, it doesn't make sense. If I take a time flip from the low to the high, you can see where the problem is. Okay, this low was made before the minimum target. So if price claims these highs and claims these highs from where it is right now and it shoots up, it means that this structure is not finished, and this entire structure still needs to correct itself at some point. And this was only a corrective structure maybe for this impulse over here, and now it's continuing impulsively to the upside. Okay, right, legends, remember to smash up that like button. Let me go through some comments. That's basically what I see here on the price of Bitcoin. Not much else, guys, not much else. I mean, for those of you, the Legend Pro community here inside of the live stream, hey, Mr. Goldstar, you are now part of the Legend Pro community as well. I see you inside there, right? For those of you that caught this long, congratulations. Okay, I hope you take some profits to the upside. You never know, right? I know that there is a double 1-2 scenario where price just absolutely rock and rolls to the upside. Maybe leave a little bit of a moonback open. I can only tell you what I do as a technical trader, but at the end of the day, you pull the trigger. You are in charge of your own finances. Please do not do what I do or what I tell you to do, okay? You are just listening to me for a pinch of salt, okay? For a little bit of motivation, maybe a little bit of inspiration, and to learn to do technical analysis on your own so that you don't have to watch these channels anymore. Okay, so you do you at the end of the day. Right, but if it was me, well, it is me at the moment. I am inside of this trade, okay? From a simplicity perspective, I mean, looking at the volume profile, okay, let's keep it simple over here. If I look at the VRVP, let's just keep it simple, okay? Let's look at this structure. There's high volume over there, Okay, that's also where I identified that resistance area, and there's high volume over here, right? So this is going to be a tough nut to crack, and this is going to be a tough nut to crack. Typically what I do in a day trade is that I open a position and I close a position before I go to bed. So if price hits this level and I need to go to bed, I might even just close the position. I will leave maybe a small 5 or 10% position open for this level, and I'll put a limit order there to cash me out while I'm sleeping. But what's important about a moonbag, guys, that you need to understand, when you have properly identified profit-taking areas for your trade and you leave a moonbag open for what if it goes higher, you also need to know where to take profits for your moonbag. Otherwise, what will happen is, let's say price pumps here to the upside, okay? And you're like, wow, nice in profits, and it falls back to the downside. You didn't take profits for your moonbag, so you ended up getting stopped out at break even. So you didn't make extra money because you didn't know where to take profits for the moonbag. So this is where I will potentially close majority of my position, and this is where I will close my moonbag. So I'm telling you what I'm going to do with this trade, because I know tomorrow, hopefully, there's going to be another trade that I can get into. Because there's always another trade around the corner. That is from a day trading perspective. Remember, guys, I'm a day trader. The definition of a day trader is typically you get in and out of a trade during the same day. If you are in a swing trade, then you could have a trade open for weeks and months. Okay, that's a different mindset. That's a low leverage 2x position. Like I've shown everyone, I do have 2 swing trades open on 2x leverage. Nothing crazy. I've nibbled ever so slightly on those 2 trades. Okay. Let me go through some comments. Legend, how about the timing? Yes, I have just gone through the timing. I'm not sure which time frame you're referring to, but I hope I discussed the timing. I caught it at the bottom. Thanks for the education. Good old days. Welcome, man. Absolute legend. If you caught that at the tippy, I mean, guys, there was a couple of ways to get into this trade, by the way, right? There was a couple of ways to get into this trade. If I go back here onto the 5-minute time frame, okay, let me just switch off the VRVP. So from an education perspective, the easiest way to get in is you wait for the breakout. You either play the breakout if there's a candle close above the trend line, or you wait for the retest, because now you get a better entry. Can you see that this entry is lower than this entry? Your invalidation is the low. Okay. The reason I sometimes also play the breakout and I don't play the retest, not often, I mostly play the retest, but you could have gotten in over there, by the way, okay, is that often price does this. It doesn't give you a retest. It just leaves without you. And if you're waiting for the retest, you don't get it. But if you do get the retest, those are the best areas to get in. Okay. And I did explain if you joined a little bit late, I did explain during the beginning of the stream why this was such a beautiful retest from a timing perspective. Another way you could have gotten into that trade was taking a trend-based fib from the high to the low, okay, to the high, you reverse it, 1.618, okay, right guys, 1.618. Okay, I don't have it perfectly drawn here, but I know the way that I had it, it tapped it to perfection. So I do like to use especially the 1.618 as a swing failure line. You tap it, you enter, even if stop goes below the low, and now you don't have to worry about getting an entry over there. As price moves in your favor, you already have a free trade because you can put your stop loss above your entry. So there was a way to get in using a Fibonacci level, of which the 1.618 is magical. Okay, I actually have a YouTube video where I only speak about the 1.618, how powerful it is, the reasons behind the 1.618. You get it in seashells, you get it in sunflowers, you see it all across nature. No one can explain the 1.618. It's a Fibonacci level that just gets respected in nature, everywhere, inside of the charts. Okay, anyways, right, legends, so there was a way to get in over here. You could have played the breakout. Okay. You could have played the retest here on the 5-minute time frame. Let me just take the brushes out. And I wanted to grab the time flip. So I took the time flip from the low to the high. Okay, from the low to the high. I snapped on the time flip. And like I explained to everyone during the beginning of the stream, when we tapped the trend over here, beautiful retest, but I was not convinced. Because look at this. You did the retest before the minimum target. On the smaller time frames, rules does get broken. I'm not going to say often. Rules does get broken, but it mostly respected. The larger the time frame you trade, the better the rules gets respected. So I was not interested in this low, but I was very interested in this low because you also tapped the 786 to perfection, which is the maximum bouncing area for a bullish structure. You tap the 786 to the dollar. You made the low after the minimum requirement. Now this is where I get very interested. If I missed this trade, this is where I get very interested. I wasn't interested in this one because my trading rules state if the low is not made after my minimum target, I do not take the trade. So if price left without me over here, then I would have just waited for the next trading setup. Because I have to follow my trading rules. I trade probabilities. And you can see, because I trade probabilities, okay, I got the best entry. If it left without me, it is what it is. I have to respect my trading rules. Right, cool. And 0.618 as well. Yes, I mean, there's a couple of ways. It also tapped, good old days. I like that username. It's a really funky username. Okay, if I go back here onto the 1 hour time frame and I look at this structure, okay, and I take a fib from the low, just a normal Fibonacci retracement from the low to the high, you can see that price also bounced perfectly on the 0.382. Perfect. Bounce on the 0.382. Usually, and I often speak about this, usually when you have a pump and you come back to the first major Fibonacci level, you get a reaction. So pay attention to the 50%, pay attention to the 618. Okay, let's see, because I mean the 50% is perfectly aligned with support over here. The 618 is perfectly aligned with that high point of control that we've just identified. So you can see how these Fibonacci's are perfectly aligned with actual price action support and resistance either to the up or to the downside. Okay, right, Dewald, when you started trading, were you doing day trades or swing trades? Would be interested to hear your journey from the beginning and how you started. Maybe a topic for a video. Yes, Bahat, start. Yo, what a long username. Definitely. I mean, it's going to take too long to go through the entire story, but I am actually busy making a video about myself, how I started, the struggles that I went through. I've also burnt accounts, guys. I've learned the hard way. Some people learn the easy way. They burn one account and then they just, go and study and master it. I guess I had to learn the hard way so that I can tell everyone here on the community, don't do that because I have done it. Don't do that because I've done it. Okay. Don't FOMO into a trade, been there, done it. Okay. So, Bahart Omstart. What a username. I will get I will post a video about that at some point, or maybe do a live stream and I'll go a little bit into detail about my trading story. Okay, Dewald, thanks a lot, learn a lot from you. Winnings is better than my losses. Absolutely amazing, Frank. So awesome to see that. Legends, remember, if you'd like to come and trade, support the channel and get the biggest sign-up bonuses and lowest trading fees, Bluffin, you get 15% cash back on the money that you deposit in your features account. Weeks, still 20% cash back on the money that you deposit in your features account. 25% back on your trading fees. I've got BTCC over here, and also I've got Femix, guys. There are still spots available on Femix where you get $150 free airdrop just by signing up. Okay, I did a tutorial on Saturday. You can go check out Saturday's tutorial. I did do a tutorial on Femex. Okay, great exchange, loads of liquidity. They've been in the game since 2018. So if you want some options, here's some options for you guys. Remember the 10% discount only for today and tomorrow. After tomorrow, I'm taking it out. Okay, if you use the Dewald promo 10 promo code when you sign up, you get 10% discount on the 3-month plan. So if you were thinking about joining the Legends Pro community, okay, there's a nice little discount for if you want to join. Right, Legends, that is basically all I have time for today. I did say I'm going to do a little bit of a shorter live stream, saying thank you so much for joining, and until the next one, just for now.